Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees for today's session on Srimad Bhagwatam. We'll start with prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Vasudeva Narayanam Namaskrutyam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatvajayam Udiret Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhoti Nashtiki. Hare Krishna Dandat Pranam. Now today we continuing Srimad Bhagwatam Canto 11 chapter 29 Bhakti Yoga Shloka number 13 to 26. इति सर्वाणि भूतानि मद्भावेन महत्युते सभाजयन्मन्यमानः ज्ञानं केवलम् आश्रितः ब्राह्मणे पुक्कसे स्तेने ब्रह्मणे अर्के सुलिंगके अक्रूरे क्रूरके च एव समदृक पंडितः मतः नरेषु अभीक्ष्णं मद्भावं पुंसो भावेत अचिरात् स्पर्धा असूया तिरस्काराः सहंकारा वियन्ति विसृज्य स्मयमानान् स्वान् दृशं व्रीडां च देहि किं प्रणमेत दण्डवत भूमौ आश्व चाण्डाल गोकरम् यावत् सर्वेषु भूतेषु मद्भावनोपजायते तावत् एवमुपासीत वाक् मनः कायवृत्तिभिः सर्वं ब्रह्म आत्मकं तस्य विद्यया आत्मनं आत्ममनीषया परिपश्यत उपरमेत सर्वतः मुक्त संशयः अयमि सर्वकल्पानां सदृचीनामत मम मद्भाव सर्वभूतेषु मनः वाक् काय वृत्तिभिः न हि न हि अंग उपक्रमे ध्वंस मद्धर्मस्य उद्धव अणु अपि मया व्यवसित सम्यक् निर्गुणत्वात् अनाशिनः अनाशिषः यह यह मयि परे धर्म कल्पते निष्फलाय चेत् तदा आयसः निरर्थः स्यात् भया आदेः इव सत्तम एषा बुद्धिमतां बुद्धिः मनीषा च मनीषीणां यत् सत्यं सत्यं ऋतेन इय मर्तेन अपनोति मा अमृतम् एष ते भीतौ कृतस्नः ब्रह्मवादस्य संग्रह समास व्याद विधिना दैवानाम् अपि दुर्गमः अभिक्ष्णशः ते कथितं ज्ञानं विस्पष्ट युक्तिमत एतत् विज्ञाय मुच्येत पुरुषः नष्ट संशयः सुविभक्तं तो प्रश्नं मया एतत् अपि धारयेत् सनातन ब्रह्म गुह्यं परं ब्रह्मधिगच्छति यः एतत् मम भक्तेषु सम्प्रद्यात् सुपुष्कलं तस्याहं ब्रह्मदायस्य ददामि आत्मानं आत्मना ट्रांसलेशन एंड परपट विद श्रीला प्रभुपाद जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। Oh, brilliant Uddhava, one who thus views all living entities with the idea that I am present within each of them, and who by taking shelter of this divine knowledge offers due respect to everyone, is considered actually wise. Such a man sees equally the Brahmana and the outcast, the thief and the charitable promoter of Brahminical culture, the sun and the tiny sparks of fire, the gentle and the cruel. For him who constantly meditate upon my presence within all persons, the bad tendencies of rivalry, envy, and abusiveness, along with false ego, are very quickly destroyed. Disregarding the ridicule of one's compassion, one should give up bodily conception and its accompanying embarrassment. One should offer obeisance before all, even the dog, outcast, cows, and asses. falling flat upon the ground like a rod. Until one has fully developed the ability to see me within all living beings, one must continue to worship me by this process with the activities of his speech, mind, and body. By such transcendental knowledge of the all-pervading personality of Godhead, one is able to see the absolute truth everywhere, freed thus from all doubts. One gives up pretty activity. Indeed, I consider this process using one's mind, words, and bodily function for realizing me within all living beings to be the best possible method of the spiritual enlightenment. My dear Uddhava, because I have personally established it, this process of devotional service unto me is transcendental and free from any material motivation. Certainly, a devotee never suffers even the slightest loss by adopting this process. Oh, the greatest of saints in a dangerous situation. An ordinary person cries, becomes fearful, and laments, although such useless emotions do not change the situation. But activities offered to me without personal motivation, even if they are externally useless, amount to the actual process of religion. This process is the supreme intelligence of the intelligent and the cleverness of the most clever. For by following it, one can in this very life make use of the temporary and unreal to achieve the eternal reality. Thus have I related to you, both in brief and in detail, a complete survey of the science of the absolute truth. Even for the demigods, this science is very difficult to comprehend. I have repeatedly spoken this knowledge to you with clear reasoning. Anyone who properly understands it will become free from all doubts and attain liberation. Anyone who fixes his attention on these clear answers to your question will attain to the eternal confidential goal of the Vedas, the supreme absolute truth. One who liberally disseminates this knowledge among my devotees is the bestower of the absolute truth, and to him I give my very own self. Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A series of opposite is set forth here, namely the high class Brahmana and the low class aborigine, the thief who steals from respectable person and the respecter of Brahmanical culture who gives charity to the Brahmana, the all powerful son and the insignificant spark, and finally the kind and the cruel. Ordinarily, the ability to distinguish between such opposites qualifies one as intelligent. How then can the Lord state that ignoring such obvious differences establishes one as a wise man? The answer is given by the words Mad Bhavena. A wise person sees the supreme personality of Godhead within everything. Therefore, although externally perceiving and dealing with the varieties of material situations, a wise man is more impressed by and concerned with the overwhelming unity of all existence, which is based on the presence of the Supreme Lord within everything. As explained here, a truly wise person is not limited to superficial material discrimination. We conditioned souls tend to feel rivalry toward our equals, envy toward our superior, and the desire to belittle our subordinates. These contaminated propensities, along with their very basis, false ego, can be quickly vanquished by meditating upon the supreme personality of Godhead within every living being. One should practice seeing the supreme personality of Godhead within all creature. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu advised all devotees to consider themselves lower than a blade of grass and to be more tolerant than a tree. In such a humble position, one will not be disturbed in the prosecution of pure devotional service to the Lord. A devotee does not foolishly think that a cow or an ass is God, but rather the devotee sees the Supreme Lord within all creatures And on this higher spiritual plane, he does not discriminate until one fully realizes the Supreme Lord within all being. He should continue the process of offering obeisance to all creatures, although one may not be able to actually fall on the ground before all creatures, at least within his mind or by his words. One should offer respect to all being. This will accelerate the devotee's self-realization. Although great sages and authorities have established various methods of human progress, the Supreme Lord himself has introduced the system of Bhakti Yoga, wherein one directly the Lord without personal motivation can never be defeated in his progress and will certainly go back home, back to Godhead in the near future. Thus, even the most insignificant activity, when offered to the Supreme Lord without personal desire, can elevate one to the perfection of spiritual life. Actually, Lord Krishna always protects and maintains his devotee. But if a devotee cries to the Lord for protection and maintenance, desiring to continue his devotional service unimpeded, Lord Krishna accepts such apparently unnecessary appeals to be the highest religious process. As described in this chapter, one who desires personal prestige and the Lord's service cannot be considered intelligent and clever. Similarly, one who is anxious to become a sophisticated, transcendental philosopher is not the most intelligent, nor is one who is expert in accumulating money. The Lord here stated that the most intelligent and clever person is the devotee who offers his temporary, illusory material body and possessions to him with love and without personal motivation. The devotee thus obtains the eternal absolute truth. In other words, real intelligence is to actually surrender to Lord Krishna without personal desire or duplicity. That is the Lord's opinion. The word Devanam indicates those living beings in the mode of goodness, such as demigods, saints, and pious philosophers, who nevertheless cannot understand the absolute truth because they lack full surrender to the personality of Godhead. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवाञ्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितं च नमो ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात देश तारिणे वांछा कल्पतरुभे च कृपा सिन्धुभे एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Danda Pranam. Today we continuing Srimad Bhagwatam, Canto 11, chapter 29, Bhakti Yoga, from shloka number 13 to 26. I will only tell that only one important point here. Krishna told to Uddhava, one who serves the Lord without personal motivation can never be defeated in his progress and will certainly go back home, back to Godhead. Here, again, Krishna told that who understanding the questions of the Uddhava and giving the answer of Krishna, who understand, he know everything and he do his sadhana or service perfectly without failing in his attempt, and thus he attained the supreme personality and go back home, back to bed. Prabhuji will tell you in detail. Vancha kalpatarubhech kripa sindhubhe evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So here we are learning about the most important part about Bhakti Yoga, and that too from Krishna, towards whom the bhakti has to be given. So Krishna is answering Uddhava's questions and is explaining that for all living entities who know that Krishna is present within each of them and who take shelter of this divine knowledge, offer due respect to everyone, they are the ones who are considered wise. What this enables us to do is look at everyone equally. Sama darshinaha. So whether it is Brahman or an outcast, thief or a charitable person, sun or the fire, someone who is gentle or someone who is cruel, we can look at everyone as equal, equivalent, because we are then constantly meditating upon Krishna's presence within all persons. And whatever are those tendencies of rivalry, envy, abusiveness, false ego, they are immediately destroyed. So the Madbhavena, that becomes very important. That a wise person sees the supreme personality of Godhead within everything. And that is the level which we need to reach. So just go back little towards what we learned in Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instructions. These were the exact facts when we are talking about the ultimate level of bhakti, wherein we reach prema bhav. So thus before that is bhava bhakti, and someone in the bhava stage has reached this. Or the classification of the devotees into Uttam Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Kanishta Adhikari. So Uttam Adhikari is one who is already able to look at everyone equally. So this is what Krishna is explaining here, that we should not go by the material aspects. What we also understand here indirectly from Krishna is that the cause for our rivalry towards our equal, or envy towards our superior, or the desire to belittle our subordinates is because of our condition. So these are all contaminated propensities. And the basis for all this is false ego. So what are problems we actually see in Kali Yuga right now, in our life right now, are all related to this. So if you want to get out of all those problems, what Krishna is directly telling us is destroy false ego. And how is it possible? By meditating upon Krishna. That it is possible. So that is what we need to understand. That This is the most important aspect of our life. Madbhavam punsah bhavayatah pachirat. Quickly it will get destroyed. And that is what we are aspiring for. We may get ridiculed for these things that we are giving up bodily conceptions. We may feel embarrassed at times, but still, Krishna says that you should offer obeisances even to dogs, falling like a fraud. I mean, case of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he also told us the same thing. Drunadapi suniche, that we should become humbler than the blade of a grass. Dharorapi sahishnu, become tolerant more than a tree. Because it's only humility, as Guru Maharaj always explains, and who is humility personified, that only humility will give us the mercy of devotees, the mercy of Krishna. So until we have developed this ability to see Krishna within everyone, we must continue to worship him by the process, with mind, with body, with speech, and try to see him everywhere, not have any kinds of doubts, and thus give up the fruitive activities. In fact, this process is the best possible method of spiritual enlightenment. And this is something which has given tremendous results, as we are seeing. Hippies had been converted into happies by Srila Prabhupada through this very process. And so we need to follow this system of Bhakti Yoga, wherein we directly take shelter of the Lord in loving service. And one who can serve Lord without personal motivation can never be defeated in his progress, and can definitely go back home, back to Godhead. Because Krishna himself has personally established it. So you should not have any kind of fear. Even in dangerous situation, even an ordinary person cries, becomes fearful, laments. But such emotions are useless. The moment we offer everything to Krishna without personal motivation, automatically all these get relieved. This process is the supreme intelligence of the intelligent and makes us most clever, because by following it, our very life, which is caught in this unreal temporary world, can achieve Krishna, which is the eternal reality, who is the one who can be achieved. So even if it is most insignificant activity, it gets valued. Just remember the construction of the Ram Setu, the small little, they were just simply putting few drops of mud, dirt, and Lord Rama praised them. That is the importance of your activity in service to Krishna. So that has to be involved in each of our activity. It cannot be one activity or two activity. We should not desire anything for ourselves. We should not have any desire of personal prestige in Lord's service. Anyone who has such desires can never achieve the true bhakti. One who is anxious to become sophisticated transcendental philosopher is not intelligent. So we should not even try to be that way. Because the real intelligence is to actually surrender to Krishna without any personal desire or duplicity. That is what Krishna has said. Sarva dharman parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. Thus Krishna explains this knowledge with clear reasoning and tells that anyone who properly understands it will become free from all doubts and attain liberation. In between, the Lord is using the word Devana, which indicates living beings in the mode of goodness, such as demigods, saints, past philosophers. But even they cannot understand truth because they lack full surrender to Supreme Personality of Godhead. This particular knowledge has been spoken repeatedly by Krishna with clear reason. So we need to understand it, not have any kinds of doubt. We have to fix our attention on these clear answers, and thus we'll attain eternal confidential goal of Vedas, which is Sri Krishna. Krishna additionally tells one most important sentence. Ye etan mama bhakteshu sampradyat supushkalam tasya aham brahmadaya asya dadami atmanam atmana. One who literally disseminates this knowledge among my devotees is the bestower of absolute truth, and to him I give my very own self. And that is why preaching and being involved in any kind of preaching activities is very important. Just sharing the messages of different classes on WhatsApp is also an involvement in preaching activity. Sharing what we have done, what we have heard with others is also a preaching activity. Book distribution, prasadam distribution, making more people aware and join the mission is also a preaching activity. And to whom? To that person, Krishna gives his very own self. Hare Krishna.